I'd love to hear from you, Beverley, what you're hearing on the line about debt, because I gather that's a trend that you're seeing in terms of debt recovery claims. I just wonder if you could tell the audience what you're seeing there.
Yeah, so to be fair, on our commercial legal advice line, debt has always been a popular subject. It's business as usual. It's always one of the most popular topics that we get asked about. But I think, as I alluded to earlier, it has changed in as much as people now are trying to hang on to their own cash flow. So maybe stringing out their own debts as far as they can. We have people who are now asking for advice on how quickly can they go in with issuing proceedings if they're not collecting debt. And as I say, that the limit of that debt, whereas before it was fairly pragmatic in the main. Okay, we're going to have to spend some money to chase this debt, so we'll just leave it. We'll see what happens over the course of the next few months. That has kind of disappeared, and it is now a case of, actually, no, that debt is due, and I need that money in. So what is my legal recourse to get it? So that's increased. And then, as I said as well, there is an upturn, and probably quite rightly so, to be fair, that where someone is providing a service to you, making sure that the businesses feel like they've got the value for the money. And again, we've had an upturn in questions about, actually, how can we challenge services and things like that after the event? Because actually, we were happy to pay that amount, but we don't think we got our money's worth. So how can we challenge these things? And those subjects, the lower limit and the challenging, is not something that we generally see a lot of. So there's definitely a spike in both of those things.
And when did you start to notice the spike?
To be fair, it's creeping up as we speak. But I would say in the last couple of months, and all that happens with the political uncertainty is, I think it just makes it worse. There is a sense of, I wouldn't say panic, but there is a sense of urgency now with some of the calls that we deal with. As I say, we've lost a little bit of that pragmatic, okay, this is part and parcel of running a business, you take the rough with the smooth. These are now urgent issues that people need to deal with, and cash flow obviously is one of those important ones. So yeah, the last few months, and I expect that to continue for the short term at least.
James, what's your experience been in recent months of cash flow and dealing with your customers when it comes to payments?
Again, I echo that. Unusual. I'm quite a data geek, and so we have ebbs and flows. So we are quite project-based. And there's various contracts we have in place, and we're pretty good at managing our cash. My wife does that for me, so she's very committed in it. But we normally see there's a bit of a slowdown when people go away. Approvals don't happen necessarily for payouts in things like August. But then September tends to come flooding through, which is all good. That didn't really happen. So suddenly we had about just over 40% increase on trend on year-on-year previous norms of our debtor book going up for no good reason other than two things. So approvals are taking longer internally, both in terms of the work being complete to a satisfactory level, which again, our direct clients will say, no, I'm happy, but I now have to do more proof. The CFO is asking for more evidence, et cetera, et cetera. There's more scrutiny internally to sign this off. And then even when it's signed off, we're finding some procurement or payment departments just saying, right, we're going to push this to the end of the month.